Yo, welcome back to You Don't Say YDS. My name is Busiso Mzolo, and this is episode 4 of season 2. And if it's the first time tuning in, You Don't Say is a platform, Yamachimbos, where we come and we talk about anything affecting men, whether it's school, whether it's spani, whether it's health or love. But I'm not alone, of course. I'm with my homie, my light-skinned brother.
Colorism, brother. Colorism. Taps and taps, kabu yellow. Same time filter. Yeah, guys, always good to be in this space, you know. We're always learning. We're always learning. And on today's episode, we're talking about absent fathers in South Africa.
It's a hectic topic.
Yeah, there was a report. You remember that report? Yeah, the report that was released by Sisonke Gender Justice, which stated that 71% of children in South Africa live in homes and households with an adult man, and 29% is without any form of an adult man. So to help us hash out this number and this topic in itself, we are joined by none other than Mr. Lesley Nkosi of LNH, Les Nkosi Holdings. He's not a co-founder. He's the founder. He's the director. But outside of that, he serves in various spaces.
Yeah, for sure.
He's a facilitator. He's been facilitating a lot of talks and change processes in our environments, in our immediate communities. And also, he's an actor.
Yes.
Yeah, voiceover artist. A man of many talents, you know? A man of many talents. Uzo is a voice.
Les, how you say?
Spirit.
How you doing, Khotban?
Right, man, how you doing?
Easy.
What up? What it be? What it is?
I might.
Sure.
Thank you
Thank
for having me, gentlemen.
Yeah, no, it's always a pleasure to be in your space, you know.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so as you've heard, we're talking about absent fathers in South Africa today. Maybe when let's just give us your brief understanding what a father is, you know,
before we kick into
Yeah, like, you know, please remind me to ask the question about 71%, because I was thrown off by that number.
Yeah.
And we will talk about that. What a father is, man. Sure, a father is a lead of life. Like, you know, I remember there was one interview I watched of Bob Marley, and they were asking him, what do you think a woman is? And he said, a woman is a mother of all creation. And I thought it was the most profound thing, because without a woman there's no creation. There's no procreation, there's no continuation of creation. But in the same breath, a man is the seed of all creation, right? A man is the source of all creation. So it's almost like the person that stands between God and human beings is man. And that's what a man is supposed to be. Supposed to be someone who speaks on behalf of the family to God. Wow. And tells the family what the vision is from God for the family. And in the same token, you go into the community, you're a person who represents the community to the wider community, and you say, well, look, this is where I come from, and this is how we do things, and this is what we aspire to do. So you're representing your community, but you also feeding information into your community about where the larger community is, and so forth. And so you go from home to Kasi, to city, to South Africa, to the world. You need to have perspective to have a universal perspective of life, and feed both directions. You stand in between. So the man is an intercessor.
Wow.
So, oh man, that was. I think we can close off the show.
So you want to go in?
Yeah, I just want to go in. Just maybe I love how you just went into one of the roles of being a father or a man, and you just dealt on the social part. You know, you talked about being an intercessor, how you affect the community, affect the family. How important is the financial side of things, the emotional side of things, and the physical side of things as a father to a child, or a father to an uncle? You know, I mean, just as a man in general. So the financial part of it, the emotional and the physical part of side, because you touch more on the social side of things.
Yeah, I think the most profound thing that any male needs to understand is that, I remember when I was in high school, I was in standard 9, I was doing very good in economics, and one of the biggest philosophers of economics was introduced to me, Alfred Ben, and he says that money speaks sense in a language all nations understand. And I carried that with me for a long time until I became wise. And in my wisdom, I understood that was nonsense. That's crap. Sorry for my language, but
it's cool. It's cool.
Actually, it doesn't make sense. Money speaks language in a nation, in a language, speaks sense in a language all nations understand, but it's very limited. What the currency that is much more profound is the heart.
Wow.
The currency that is much more necessary is love. There is no other currency that is greater than love. You know, and having gone through family environments where I lacked and gave at different stages, and found and lost love in my I know that there is nothing that can replace love. But money, gents, buy insurance, buy car no insurance, mama chita mabanga ngani ngizova ngiyothola enye engcono futhi. You know, because what I do is I will plan ukuthi okay ilahleke, like if phone yami inokuwa nje after 2 years mayiwa ngithola enye. I don't know why it happens to me all the time. but the point is that, you know, in your priority list, money is there, Sbu, just as something that gives you means to provide love for your family.
Wow.
It shouldn't replace love for your family. You know, it shouldn't replace love at any level.
Wow. So yabona ukuthi vele ezinye zinganyamalala yabona, but love has to stand. Love covers it all. So earlier in the introduction I mentioned this 71% and 29%. So let me just give a brief explanation around that. So when they say there are 71% children who live with adult men in the household, obviously talking about absent fathers, they mean that it could be in the form of an uncle.
Oh,
could
so
be
caregiver.
Yeah, it's caregivers. You have an uncle. Could be an uncle. Could be a brother. It could be a biological father, who are basically serving these needs or roles, serving these roles of being a father in the household. So vele Nkosi kula in a father figure, 71%. Then 29% akho time at all. Mhlambi o lady nje by 2 and Igbo pair. And then within this 71%,
why could my sister
then 71% in here kahareda unale biological father, then unale just a father
any
figure.
Male
Any male
role figure.
any male role figure. Yabo. So vele bare this impacts Nkosi. Sky hola. So when we mean hore how not the absent fathers, so we will get into that into the later. But now I want to know, because when Hotman you did say, you mentioned we know, maybe people at home don't know, time. You know, maybe tell us a little bit more about that.
Let me tell you about that. What threw me off about that stats is that I felt it was beautiful news. I think, you know, when you said 71%, I'm like 71%, I'm expecting something very bad to be said after the 71%. You say present. I'm like, great.
This is recent. It's 2018.
It's 2018.
Beautiful.
But then the challenge with that as well, sorry to interject, is that in the media, there's always a projection, the negative.
Exactly.
Because because they have different definitions of what a father is. So maybe let me not get into that now. Maybe tell your story there.
But what it is when gents, both of you, is that the narrative that is being sent out there is that it's hopeless, but it isn't, because there are little pockets of people that are doing wonderful things and we don't celebrate it. So thank you for having me here, because I feel like we are celebrating something good. And the 71% is a beautiful takeoff for us to say 71% is present. I think I want to talk about 71% being there and how we can improve that 71% with next year. Sonke Justice says it's 81%. And you know, by 2030 will be 100%. We'll get there. But how I grew up, me, I grew up in a wonderful, a beautiful family, man. It was like, you know, Masabotaki, the family is extended. You know, we Teps, you know, mamkhulu wa gago ke mme wa gago.
Sure.
You know, it's not a aunt. It's your mom.
Yeah.
So when you're introducing your cousins from your mamkhulu side, you're saying my brother, my sister.
Yeah.
So I grew up like that. In fact, my mom and my mom's sister were the only two members in their family that were left, except their uncle, who was like pretty much a similar age with them, but he was a snob and he was snob. We are high into it. Yeah, so I'm humbly life outright.
Yeah.
But Begatlale Pimville and Tinavestala Midlands.
Sure.
So my mom and my mom's sister were like the closest family unit you could ever find. And my mom's sister was married, and my mom was married. But my mom and my dad were not doing so well in terms of relationally. You know, I remember there was this one time when it must have been 1979. I took a candle and I was trying to burn my dad, and he was sitting on top of my mom punching at her. You know?
Wow.
And I was like,
Yes, I'm not laughing, but yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And I called my father Babu Mnani. I called my mom Mam Mnani, because we were so close with my Mam Kulu that I was calling my Mam Kulu Ma and my Babu Kulu Ma Baba, because they had older children, and so their children called my mom Mam Mnani and my dad Babu Mnani.
Okay.
So I grew up like that. I never had like my mom didn't have a child. And my dad
your sibling. They were siblings.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I grew up in that environment, and it was wonderful. We didn't have a home. And my father didn't manage to buy my mother a house. I think that's one of the things that caused friction between them. You know, so sometimes Magatela is but you deserve it. Which is I don't know. I'm just saying. I was young.
Yeah.
So in so one of those punching moments in 1980 had me go away. So I think in 1981 I was sent away to Natal, and I lived in Kashi, because we didn't have it wasn't a boarding school.
Sure.
And my family didn't have family in Natal. At the time, everyone would send their family to the homelands if there's a problem.
Yeah.
So I was sent to the homelands, but I was sent to my mother's friend, who was married into this other family, a big family, and they were so I was 5.
Wow.
6. I've been and my mom would send me money every month. And so Mangboya Seba divorced. So from 1982, I lived with my mom only.
How old were you by then?
I was born in 75, so I was 7, 1982.
So
I was born in March, so quickly into that year I was 7.
So from there on, Wakula itama selingeko.
Yeah. But I was already saying cranes. I was saying Salim Kashuin, Bengashi.
How time yeah.
No, but look, I mean, when I was in that situation, gents, it wasn't desperate.
Yeah.
It wasn't sad.
Yeah.
There were moments, a lot of moments, where I missed my dad. You know, and my mom would allow me to go and see him.
Yeah.
Now, my dad lived in Pefeni Gubo.
Yeah.
And most of the time, Maganichir somewhere. Mangfika Gubo wasn't no uhambile uye sekahlala eMidlands.
Oh, hlala kabokeni.
Yeah,
always.
okay, yeah. So I that's when I did a big tour of Isoweto, because my dad took me.
maybe get selling equity timer. How did that affect when like iskela or impakatini self-esteem?
My mom played a very good role.
Yeah.
I think, tell you what, let me be honest with you. I think it was a good thing that Baslugan. Because what was affecting me more was to see my father hurt my mother. And so when my father wasn't there, I was at peace.
Wow.
Right? And I missed him at moments, but I didn't want to be with him a lot of times or for a long time. I was happy with my mother. My mother was a great provider. My mother was very supportive. My mother never talked down on my father. In some of the things that my father did to my mother, they're entrenched, emblazoned in my memory, but it's not because my mother was reminding me of those things. You know, my mother would allow me to go and hang out with my dad on weekends, and I would watch him drink, and that's all that really happened in terms of my relationship with my dad. I always had like abo baba mncane, abo auntie, abaphuzayo, because we started sporting. I understand. I have a lot of people that I know, but I don't know him. You know, and he bought me 3 things in my life. I think first time he bought me a truck, electric. First time he told me jigisa yangamuga. So I never really got to use the electric. And then a bicycle, and that lasted for a long time. And then there was a green T-shirt with a horse. In fact, it wasn't a horse. The horse in a
unicorn.
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 At time.
And then it was a shiny unicorn. It was nice. It was green, but all of those things, I lost them. This is why I knew that there's no value in material things.
Wow.
All of those things, I lost them. But the memories that I'd had with my father, I didn't have. Right? So I grew up okay with my mom. I think I would have made the same choice if I were given the opportunity again.
Wow.
The only thing is that I had to grow up very fast and look for father figure roles, and I could find them in different things.
Wow.
I could find them in music. I could find them in books. I could find them in people that I was looking at in my community. There was always like a positive role model somewhere. In my family, Ubaba Mkhulu wami naye was quite abrupt. He was a rough man, but he was there. He was present. So I could see it's possible to stay with your wife, you know. So it wasn't a hopeless, desperate situation for me.
Okay.
But it was a matter of choice, I think.
Wow.
I think it actually brings us to that question. We were having an argument between myself and Siso.
Not an argument.
Yeah. But just a small thing around definition. Talkingana. Around lento yokuthi i-time alikho, ne? Time alikho, awuna time akaraga ntlong. Mare uncle ite, yabona? And then sibuda wena ware no mare. That still doesn't fulfill whether they call it social father in the report.
Okay,
social father. No, mare. Biological father it maybe da. Because on a rule in terms of affirming. The in the report, the voice of the child. There's a child that says, I needed someone to say, you're a man, and that needed to come from my biological father. So now let's Buddha. So it kazuktini king absent father here because
I love it when you speak Zulu though. Like keep
Sisulu. So Buddha no, okay. Then what is an absent father? What is an absent father? A biological father ilisigora. Cool. Does that constitute absenteeism?
Okay. I think I mean that's interesting dialogue to have. There are 2 things that I'm observing in your conversation. The first thing is that we need to define, or we need to draw a line when we're saying absent father. Does it mean absent father? The father is absent, or does it mean the lack of a father in the life of a child? So are we looking from the lens of the child or from the lens of the father? Are we testing, or are we questioning the father role, or are we questioning the role of the father in the child?
Sure.
Right? Because if we are saying absent father from the perspective of the favor of the child, we're saying there's an absent father. When that biological father is gone and umkhulu khona, rulezu khona, malumlezu khona, there's a father. Because in my definition, the father is the intercessor. The father, that man who is there, that malume, if he's not abusing the child, if he's not raping the child, because we tend to do that sometimes. We're idiots sometimes. But it's not all of us who do that. The media will take it and run with it because the media wants to portray this image of a hopeless, helpless nation that we are such bad people that we can't even look after one another.
Yeah.
I think that's crap. I think we need to stop taking that narrative that the media is running with and stop because they're creating a self-esteem issue with us as a black nation. We're starting to look at ourselves and we're saying we are such bad people. We're such we're horrible, but we're not, right? So let me go back to say the Mkulu is there or the Uncle Les is there. And he intercedes. He buys the stuff that's necessary for school. He's there when the child comes back from school crying because they were bullied. He was there. So that father was he's an absent father, but there's no absent father in that role, right? So that's what I'm saying, Uti. The perspective that we choose, we can either choose the media perspective, which is one that's trying to bring our self-esteem down as a nation and say, you guys are bad people, you can't get it right. Or we can be wise and say, what are we looking at? The interest here is the child.
Yeah.
If the father goes, that's fine. Somebody will deal with him. Let us deal with him separately. But in the meantime, we're taking care of this. Listen, do you understand the idea of ngena nesizulu? You know, ngesizulu ngifundise ntwana ngesizulu if mina nawe sama singihotmani yakho ne mina ngiyataka and then wena you made or mina ngiyataka imedia wena uyayingena utonyala It's not just in the Bible. This is on the traditional sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
For sure.
So in the Bible it was there. The principle of it is that no woman should be a widow. Yeah. No woman should be a widow. No child should be an orphan. So it's your responsibility as my brother to take my responsibilities when I die. So it's not a sexual thing. Now it's been perverted to say, that was so so that was the idea, but it comes biblically from the past. So socially, we have a structure that takes care of the child. We are sorted. We just have to get back to who we are.
Sure.
Now, the question still stands about the father who ran.
Yeah.
That's the question that we still need to address. Let's go to my dad. My dad was hurt. My dad grew up in an environment where, listen, my dad was born in Natal. He came to Joburg following his father. So he was pretty much raised by his mom. Because the Group Areas Act and the movement of labor from the homelands to the city had made it so that our families would be split up. This is what the apartheid legacy is that we are dealing with right now. Our families were split up because the labor was concentrated in urban areas, Durban, Johannesburg, Bloemfontein, and so forth. So all the homelands would supply labor to all those places, and by law, no man was allowed to have a woman or their wife in that environment. So what it did is it created an environment of promiscuity, because they go to a hostel and then and then sometimes some good men will then take one of those women and then take another wife, but there's another wife at home. Right? So those children who are growing at home, one of them is my dad. Right? So he's following his father. He comes here, he finds that his father is his father's and his mom, his mom passed away, and then his father has found another lady. And he has no so now Itama has no model of what it is or what it means to be a father. Then he finds this woman, my mother gets pregnant. Then they decide, let's get married. And I think that was the first thing. This is after investigating. That was the first thing. They didn't get married because they loved each other. They got married because Bebalung is a problem.
Wow.
You understand? So it's so me too. So meat is
Shailago.
Yeah.
oh,
And
you
then-
guys are enjoying it.
And Ratata, then se batrowile. So I don't know how much love was there between them. And none of them was able to tell me when I investigated later. I can't tell you whether my mom and my dad loved one another.
Wow.
You know, maybe they tolerated one another. I was the fruit of the tolerance, maybe. But when shit hits the fan in an environment like that, you're not likely to stay together. It was bound that they are going to split because it was the root of it is not grounded in love. And so, but Maseba Shlugana or Mabalwa, they weren't going back. The Bible says that you must rebuke each other in love, right? So when you as a man are angry with your wife, there must be love in your speech.
Yeah.
And my father, so the first thing was that which my father didn't have a social structure that encouraged him, or that encouraged him to be settled. The second thing was that he didn't have a model to see what it means to be a father. The third thing is that he didn't have any belief system that grounded him. Religion is not just about controlling the minds. Come on, people. Media again. Media. The media will tell you that religion is controlling the mind and whatnot. Of course, religion was designed to control the mind. If you do read the Bible for yourself, you will find the Bible does say that the Pharisees and the Sadducees were there, and they were just about the law of Moses, and they wanted to hold on to the power, right? But when you have a relationship with Christ, when you have a relationship with God, you have something way beyond that. It's something spiritual. So everything that you are learning grounds you in something that's much more supreme than just being controlled. Nobody will control you if you're reading the Bible for yourself in the first place.
Come on now.
Why when ungafuni uthini uThixo kuwe.
Wow.
So my father didn't have that grounding. Right? So those are the three things that were working against him. And so in lacking that grounding, he didn't know how to love. And so again, don't you think I was lucky, gents? Which I ended up with my mom, who I think was much better at loving than my dad was. If they had been together, it would have been a disastrous situation for me. And it would have carried on to the third generation. So to the third generation. It ended in that second generation because I was given an opportunity to make a different choice, because that element was removed and I had an option, right? And so I'm thankful for this absent father, because this absent father gave me an opportunity to find me, the true me.
Wow. Sure. Yeah, so ute third generation. Ite backstation ngaye. Ambuze lo mbuzo ke yefrone nabantwana.
So, Khotmani, how I mean, I think you've sort of highlighted how for you it wasn't a sad situation. You married now. You have a beautiful young daughter of yours. How has you not Kulungana time has affected or maybe or made your marriage better? Like, how has that happened? Yes, how did that transition happen? And how do you husband and father now?
How do you husband and father now?
How do I husband
and father?
And no, I'm starting with the husbanding.
Okay. Yeah.
The husbanding is the tough one. The fathering is the easiest one.
Wow.
I always say, you guys talked earlier on about that child who says that I needed someone to tell me that I'm not gonna lie to you. There was a time, I was in my teens, when I was starting to date, and I needed to hear that was the first thing I needed. It was like, how do you share?
Wow.
Right? And then sharing cows. And at that time, look, in my township, otherwise that means you are gay.
Yeah.
And so you are being bullied. Right? So I was called Vusis Chuzana at the time. I was called Chuzana. Because I wanted to keep away. My relationship with women was more of respect and fun. I enjoyed them, but I wasn't trying to get in their panties or anything like that. But I was pushed because all of my friends were older than me. In fact, I wasn't ready when I had my first sex experience. I was not ready. That girl was ready.
It drops down the
But I
tone.
was not.
It's still recording, sir. You're still on tape.
Off or on record, she was more ready than me.
Yeah.
And I think she was ready because she was socialized, which she needs to show her beauty by giving her body to a man. I wasn't ready, but I had sex. I don't remember how it was. My first sexual experience, I don't remember how it was. I didn't enjoy it. I can't tell you. I know who it was, but I can't tell you what day it was and whatnot. But the point of it that I'm making is that I wanted to hear from someone, what is it like kissing? What is it like, penetrating? Why do we do it? And I didn't have that. And as a result of that, later on in my life, I was an idiot with women. I didn't treat women well because I grew up in an environment that encouraged promiscuity. And so I didn't know how to love. I had to relearn to love, I think when I was in my 30s. Because my relationship, the longest relationship that I'd had was 6 months for a long time, until I made a conscious decision. I want to stay long in a relationship. And the first longest relationship for me was 2 years, and it was tumultuous. And so for the longest time I struggled to learn how to love a woman as a woman, and I didn't know what it was, how it is. What is my role as a man in a relationship between a man and a woman?
Wow.
Right? So husbanding became it's something that I'm still learning. Because first of all, I need to, like my dad, I need to learn how to be a man. I need to learn how to treat my woman right. And I grew up, very independent. So my opinion is very strong because I was not really opposed to Kontu. I was the only man in Kontu. They trusted me. So my mother would actually tell me, listen, Tanam, I don't want anything from you. I just want you to equality. That's all. But so I was independent even in my money. And now I'm a married boy and I've got to account to someone. Look, love. So it's 100 rand my mind is just telling me because that's 100 rand till petrol or something. Why are you discussing this thing? But the rules of marriage says that I've got to be transparent with money. I've got to be transparent to my wife with those things. I'm struggling, but I'm learning. So the husbanding is a work in progress. But I have the willingness, my will, as an act of my will. I'm willing to make this work because I'm breaking generational patterns. Remember that there's 2 generations that are waiting for me, so that right? So I have to make sure my wife is going to be my wife when I'm dying.
Wow.
Right? So there are certain things that I'm learning about myself that are not so cool, and I didn't apply for them.
Wow.
And it comes from not having had a father figure in my life. But because I'm aware, I'm going. And I want to tell everyone out there who does not have a father that it's possible. It's possible. You don't have to be a hopeless case.
Sure.
Because no, that's nonsense, man. You're not a hopeless case. You are just there's a challenge for you to do things better or differently.
Wow.
The fathering, it's easy because all I have to do is I have to remember what my role is in her life. So Mamela is 2 years on the 14th of February. Yes, she is Valentine's baby. She decided she wants to come on Valentine's, and she gave me hope in believing in that day. Because I never really believed in Valentine's. I think it was 14th of February that was commercialized to take money from the poor and give to the rich. but she gave me hope in that day, and I love her, and it's so natural. And the Bible says to me, husbands, love your wives. It says, wives, submit to your to first it says in 1 Corinthians, is it 1 Corinthians? No, somewhere in the Bible.
It's there.
It's there somewhere. It first says, submit one to another. So men, you must submit to to the wife, and wife, you must submit to the husband. And then it says, husbands, love your wives, and then it says, wives, submit to your husbands. So there's a double submission on the part of the wife, but there's two roles for the men. You have to submit to your wife, and you have to love her. So my role, for my understanding with Soma Mele, is she's a girl, is that I have to teach her what love is, so that she will be demanding it from the man that she's going to be with.
Wow.
Right? So it will be easy for her to look for, she'll be drawn to this thing when she finally is in that stage where she has to go to a man. She will know the qualities of love. And that's because daddy gave me love. Daddy was the first one who says, I love you. Daddy was the first one who said, yo, your hair is looking beautiful today. Oh, you're not looking so great, but let's fix this. You know, no, I don't like the way that you're doing this, but I'm doing it with love. So she has a model of what a man is supposed to treat her like, and that model isn't just something that's in black and white. It's entrenched in her feelings.
Wow.
You know, she knows how to translate that into life, and so she will demand that from that man, and she will know when that man is not good enough. And the biggest challenge, though, that aspect presents to me is that it challenges me to love my wife even more, and that's the part I struggle with, because I love my wife, but I don't know how. If I had the father present in the room, so this is going back to the grandfather and the uncle. The grandfather and the uncle can be there as role models, but they can't show the model of love between a man and a woman to the child in the house, because it has to be between husband and wife. But you know, it's not hopeless, but we see these things, we can deal with them.
Yo, I know mina jabulile mfethu.
Hayi
Jabulile mfethu. Angazi khona ufuna ukedish.
I'm just trying to take it all, you know.
So look, I mean, I want to go back to that 71% thing when I tapped. I think it's our responsibility as free media to start telling a positive narrative of ourselves as a people. You know, and this is, I want to talk about this thing of men are trash, right? You cannot blame women for feeling that way, that we are trash as women, because we've hurt them badly. However, there are consequences to every action. For every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, and it hurts me deeply that our sisters and our wives and our girls and our children are calling us trash, when I know that I'm not. And every time I try to stand up and say I'm not trash, I am showered with offenses from women. How dare you when you guys have done this but I haven't done it. Yeah, but now you are running away from it. So the women have begun to talk at us. And what it does to us as men is it makes us kind of pull back, and we cave, and we go into this cave until they come. But the more that's happening is the more that mainstream media is taking stories of R. Kelly. I don't know what happened. I don't watch the media, but I know that there's the latest thing about R. Kelly now. And they will take R. Kelly, or they will take Bill Cosby, and they will run with that for about 2 months, and they will put it into the soul of the woman, and the woman will come back, and they will, every time they look at me, they hate me. And so it's at that level where if my mother, having been abused by my father in the 70s, was living in the modern day time, she probably would have either killed herself or she would have killed him. But she didn't have the influence of outside media to say hate him so much, and that benefited me as a boy who grew up loving women. Because my mother didn't say to me, your father is crap, your father is bad, your father is this. So I grew up feeling like my father has a chance, and my father is flawed, right? My father is an asshole, but my father is human. And when I went eventually to look for my father to rekindle our relationship, I was looking to ask him, why were you beating my mom up? Because I found myself pushing a girlfriend. That 2-year relationship, the first 2-year relationship, it was toxic because we were in drugs. And what was happening is that we would only love each other when we were high, and when we were sober, we were not loving each other. So one of those times I found myself pushing her down, and she stood up, and it was almost like I had killed her.
Wow.
And I remembered vividly in my memory my father punching at my mom. I went and looked for my father. I found him in KZN. I wanted to ask him the question, right? And he couldn't tell me that question, but I then moved on to say, so what happens when I'm feeling enraged by a woman that I feel like being physical? And he said to me, Danam, before you bulala. So there are issues that my dad had, but I took that advice and I ran with it, right? The point of it is that my father did a bad thing, but he's not a bad person. Men I Trash is painting a picture that we are trash. We belong in the garbage, but we don't. We have issues. We do bad things, but we don't. So it's time that we have to stand up and say and show the good things that we can, because we can't talk with them right now. They're talking at us, but we need to show them that we can do good things. And we need to love our women, gents. We need to show love to our women every way that we can. We need to understand that they are hurt by us, and when they're speaking things like this, they are hurt. But we need to do it so urgently that they have to stop doing this narrative, because everything they confess becomes a fact. They have power in their words. We need to pray for our women. We need to pray for our brothers that they stop those who abuse. And we need to pray media away. Or we need to push this kind of free media to go up. As push any media so that we can send our stories out there. There's so much work for us to do, but we are not trash.
We are not. Fully agree.
Ngicabanga ukuthi ukushaya ngesizulu ngokuhambise ngesizulu yabona uthi avele
okay baba kasizulu
ya kuthwara kupampeka sisizulu lapho awufikile awushovile. I think vele kusho ukuthi kumele uzobuya yabona kumele braleza abuye. You know, I think there's a lot that you've touched on that can really be extended to fuller conversations. So but for the purpose of today's show, I think you came through, you know, and we thank you for your time, and we believe that you're doing a greater work outside there, outside of these spaces, to really change lives and to inspire us to be better. You know, there's still a chance. You know, I'm walking away from this conversation with there's still a chance. You know, so yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you so much.
Just the last word.
Yeah.
Honor your father.
Gents. Man.
All of us, let's honor our fathers.
Yeah.
No matter what they've done, we need to honor them, because our blessings lay with them. Yeah.
That is a nugget.
You don't say _TS on Twitter.
I feel like we should continue.
Instagram. Bangakuthola kuphi brales bafuna?
Ngikho ku social media ntwana I deleted it. Bangangithola ku WhatsApp mara you have to be a friend.
But yeah, check out LNH
Lesley.com.
Lesley.com. That's where we at. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Yo, no words. Yo, thank you so much.
Yeah.